a very dramatic change to how it is managed, which is basically transitioning from a centralized management to a much more decentralized and shared management, shared responsibility, and self-sustaining model. Um, Now, a lot of people, when they get into organizing events, there is something that happens sometimes with idealism, where oh, can we make this free and keep it free forever and all that sort of thing. In my view, it's pretty difficult sometimes to make that work. We started organizing language exchange events at the same time as we started our language school. And the language school is what helps sustain the language exchange community. It gives us the opportunity to be altruistic, but at the same time to potentially get some students from the events, just enough to make it worth our while to organize events um, continuously, and provide a really nice service. Now, this was working for our school before the pandemic, but I'm realizing that the market has changed, and because our events are free online, and it's very difficult to charge for events online in this market, and a variety of other factors, it's just no longer a sustainable model. Essentially, as a school, we need to transition away from putting effort into the events. We want to continue to support the events community, but with very, very, very minimal effort. And believe it or not, the amount of effort that goes into supporting and perpetuating this language exchange community has been massive. But it's really unsustainable, um, as far as because the events that we're organizing are not getting us students. We're not getting any students. We're not getting any income. And because we need to survive, we need to transition a lot of our time to practices that are going to help get us students. Um, so for that reason, instead of closing down the events community, and we've been already in a really awesome transition as it has been to a more shared responsibility approach where there's so many of you that have been wonderful to volunteer to organize events and to coordinate with each other and to help manage and moderate this community. That's amazing. So we just need to continue with that, take the next step, and to create a plan for moving forward. Um, so let me just kind of just explain. Let's see. First of all, that we were taking attendance for your events because we wanted to gather data to find out who is attending, because the people who are attending are more likely to be responsive to promotions. And then what I would do is I would ask those people to fill out our feedback form. I'll show you that. Um, and then they fill out the feedback form so we can know more about the events. We can tell you how they felt about the event, and if it can be improved and all that. But then also at the very end, we have this, are you interested in volunteering opportunities or classes? And if they click classes, that's our way of potentially finding students. If they click this is a way to find more organizers. But there are other ways to discover new organizers besides this. Um, so that was the business reason for taking attendance. But the other reason why we take attendance is for this. It's for the community, because it's really healthy for the community when people can see that you are rewarded for attending and for being involved. So, we have it so that once you attend one event, you become a friend. Once you attend 5 events, you become a super friend. And once that has happened, we can approach you and discuss, hey, would you like to organize? So the way we would do attendance is a little bit more formal, but since we're basically removing the business aspect of it, it does not have to be such a formal process anymore, but we still want to basically try to um, give people the proper role based on their involvement in the community. It's going to help make the community healthy. It encourages people to be more involved. It has been very effective, and it's been very great. So I'm going to show you how to take attendance in an informal way. all you have to do is go to the attendance log, which, by the way, since it's such a busy channel, what did I do? I silenced it for myself. I muted it for myself. That's something you can do if you want, if you don't like to get all those notifications. But basically, you go there, and after an event, you can see, oh, well, this person, I don't know why it's time. We can see 3:30. So if your event started at 7 p.m. and it went till 8:30, you probably want to just look, and if your event was in the watch parties channel, then just go and look, or let's say the Spanglish discussion channel, just go and look for all the people who joined that voice channel within that time frame. You can also see when they left. And that's how you know whether they attended the event or not. Now, you can also compare the times. If they join and immediately leave, then I usually wouldn't mark that person as having attended. With what I do is just, I want them to have attended for at least 15 minutes. If they would join the event for at least 15 minutes, I'll go ahead and mark them as having attended. But you can decide, what your threshold is. If you want to just mark everybody who joined as attended, that's fine. If you want to only mark people who were there for at least 30 minutes, that's fine. Whatever you want to do. But again, we don't really actually have to take attendance. All you really have to do is right-click, go to roles, and make sure they have the proper role. So this person, for example, she is now a friend. She's already a friend. If she were a newbie, I would simply upgrade them. So if she's a newbie, all I would do is just simply go, oh, she's attended an event. Okay, go to roles. Let's upgrade her to a friend. Boom. That's all you have to do. It's a little more complicated when it comes to upgrading somebody to a super friend, because how do you know if they've attended 5 events? Well, obviously, if you've seen them in 5 of your events, then you can upgrade them. Or you can, during your event, you can just ask and you could say, hey, if this is your 5th event, let me know and I can upgrade you to a super friend. And I would recommend that you say, tell me what 5 events you attended. If they can only remember 3 or 4, that's probably fine. But, that's a good idea to keep them accountable, because, I don't know, maybe somebody's going to try to be a super friend even though they didn't really attend. You probably should try to keep them accountable. So that's really it. I mean, I would recommend going into this event. Let's say your event ends at 8:30. Go ahead and just look at this the next day, or right after your event ends, ideally, and just go ahead and do this. So that would be much appreciated if you could do that as an organizer. Again, at this point, there's zero business benefit for us. The only purpose to doing that is to just make the community more healthy by rewarding people for coming to your event. I mean, there's other ways you can do it. You can ask for them to fill out a feedback form or something, but very few people are going to actually fill out the form. So, there are other ways you can try to take attendance. You can maybe make a post and ask them to thumb up it if they attended. But then again, you might have people who didn't attend who thumb up, or, you can do the whole, I shared in a different video how to take attendance with member list. You can do that to see, to check who was in the voice channel at a particular time, and you can just work back to do the attendance that way. There's a lot of different ways you can take attendance. Again, I mean, attendance isn't really even the right word. It's just that you want to upgrade people to the proper roles. What else? Well, we're gonna have to coordinate the timing of events. The value that we need to place is that when it's published on Meetup, if it's published on Meetup, and if it's also promoted in Discord, then that event gets precedent. So we can have multiple events going at the same time, but let's say if there's a game night, we only have one games channel for a reason. It really needs to be that there should be only one game-related event happening at a time. There should be only one watch party event happening at a time. The reason for that is you're just going to frustrate the other organizers if you're competing with them. Now, could there be a game night and a watch party going on at the same exact time? Yeah, I think that's okay. If the team agrees and it's okay to have 2 different games running at the same time, then all you would have to do is create a second games channel. You can literally clone the channel, games, 2. Okay, just do that. Go ahead and do that. After that's over, after that event is over, you can go ahead and delete the channel. That's fine. If we're trying to keep this minimal, but during the middle of events, you might want to do that. Another thing you can do is you can go ahead and go to the hidden, if you want to just like, bring the whale channel up and say, oh, join the whale channel or something. That's another idea. But the cloning is probably the easiest. So, and that's actually, that could be, you might have a game night where you have 25 people show up, and you might want to play smaller games that only are like 5 people each or 10 people each. You might want to do several channels for that, and you might want to split up anyway. For simplicity, you might, if there's no other events going on, you can just say, hey, some of you join the watch party, channel or whatever. Um, but yeah, let's just avoid having 2 events that are organized by 2 different people, 2 separate events that are organized by 2 separate people. Let's avoid having them clash or overlap or compete with each other. The ideal would be like, oh, let's say, maybe we want to do a game night where there's one channel for Jackbox Party and one channel for Codenames, but let's just be in agreement about that. Make sure the 2 organizers are in discussion about that and are in agreement and are okay with that. And probably you all want to join the games channel to start, and then you divide after that. You say, okay, whoever wants to go to Codenames, join the games 2. Whoever wants to stay for Jackbox Party, just stay in games 1. That sort of thing. So just don't compete with each other. If it's already on Meetup, then Meetup events get precedence. So if somebody posts an event on Meetup and then somebody else posts an event on Apollo in Discord at the same time, and there's the same kind of event, the Meetup event should get priority. So go back to the Meetup calendar, keep checking that, continue to communicate with each other in the organizers group or one-on-one privately. Another thing, I mean, again, if your event is, if you don't really need it to be humongous, then probably promoting the event using just Apollo directly in Discord is adequate. But if you want the event to be larger, I recommend publishing on Meetup at least a week in advance and then promote the Meetup link in Discord. And you can create, you can copy previous events to create your own. You can create a new event or copy a previous one. I recommend copying, because it helps you to like remember what are all the things that you need to include. But you can publish events there. You can publish your events on Duolingo if you want. You can publish, promote them more broadly. I shared in another video how you can promote your events more broadly with Facebook groups, and this with that. But basically, is that it? I mean, we definitely need to do a meeting to discuss these things. But the main thing is that you guys should help grow the community. If you're going to be an organizer, moderate it, grow the community. Obviously, make sure people are not being disrespectful with each other in the chats. If somebody is, you can go ahead and right click and you can kick the person or even ban them. Ideally, just kick them. If they're causing serious problems, you can also mute people. If somebody's in here, you can right click and you can server mute them so nobody else can hear them. Server deafen, that's not very useful, but that means they can't hear anybody else. So there's a lot of different things. If you want to learn more about how to manage Discord, I have videos about that, or I can make more. But basically, it's about managing the roles of people. Oh yeah, and then if somebody becomes a super friend, maybe you guys can approach that person and ask, hey, would you also like to organize? The more organizers, the better. The less work that each individual has to do. The responsibility is shared. The community can perpetuate. In my experience, what you see is a lot of times people will organize and then they get tired after like maybe 1, 2, 3 months and they don't want to organize as much anymore or at all. So if I just kind of step back personally and you guys run it, you might want to, try to keep an influx of new organizers, just because if you don't, then the community might fizzle out eventually. So it's always good to bring in fresh energy with new people. Don't let yourselves get into a clique. And, you want to welcome new people, and that's just going to be the healthiest thing for the community. Um, I'm still going to stay on. Sarah and I are going to still stay on as admins. So, maybe like in the occasion of a serious dispute, we can maybe help with that, or like we're the only ones with the power to make somebody an organizer right now, I believe. So, I'm not sure if that's actually the case, but yeah, maybe you guys can make other people organizers. I'm not sure, but if not, then you can always ask us, and we can make them an organizer as well. Um, our school is still running. Our school is still running. So as long as our school is in operation, out of respect for us and the fact that we're the ones who built this community or started it, we ask that no event be a class. We don't want any language classes unless we're simply not offering that class already. And if you're not sure, ask us. So we have language classes for English, Spanish, French, German, and Portuguese right now. So if somebody wants to join and do a free Chinese class, that's okay. Ideally, that person should. Now, if that person is using it for promotional purposes so that they can get their own students, then that's not okay. We want them to go through us. But if they want to just do a free class out of the goodness of their heart, they're welcome to do it because we don't have Chinese classes. However, if somebody wants to do a free Spanish class, that's not appropriate under any circumstances because even though they're doing it out of the goodness of their heart and they're not trying to get their own students, they are undermining our own classes and they're competing with our classes. That's not appropriate because we've built this community. We deserve to get to be able to, prevent people from competing with us, even if they're claiming to do it out of their goodness of their heart. And it maybe that might be the case, but it's hurting us. So we can't allow that. So if new organizers want to join and they want to do free classes, don't let them. Don't let them. Um, that's why I really encourage the events to be language exchange events. Now, we can make some exceptions, like if it's like an English only watch party, for example, and there's really no promotional aspect to it, because that's not something we're doing as a school, we probably could allow that. An English only discussion really starts to seem a lot like a class. Um, that might be something allowable as well, but it's just something we need to discuss. Just assume that, don't assume that it's okay if it's a one language event. If it's a language exchange event, then no problem. That's the beauty of this community. Language exchange events are healthy for encouraging exchange. They encourage people from multiple backgrounds and native languages to join and to interact with each other. It's a great way of practicing, and that we do not consider that as competitive with our classes. So, that's always okay. Um, just, I guess, just be aware of that. Um, I don't know. Is there anything else I'm missing? Hopefully, more of this stuff will come up in like a discussion, if we can have a meeting about it. But I guess this is like the rough stuff. So yeah, basically managing roles, moderating the community, not competing with each other, you know, for time for event space for time space if it's a similar event same time, um, inviting new people to help join and organize, promoting the community. Now, yeah, I mean, it would be awesome if you guys want to just grab the link to the community, just grab a link. I usually edit the invite link and I say, never, no limit, generating a link, copy. You can promote this link, promote the community, help it grow, tell people about it. Here's the invite people. You can do it this way as well. Oh, this one never expires. Interesting. Oh, okay. That's to the community itself. So invite people to the community, invite people through your events, promote your events more broadly on other platforms, other locations, WhatsApp groups, Meetup, Duolingo, Facebook groups, Reddit. If you want to grow the community, that's awesome. I mean, we appreciate that as well. Oh, back to the school. If we do end up closing down our school, then yeah, we don't really have a problem with people doing free classes and stuff. If people want to do an English only event or even a free language class, that's fine. If they're using it for promotional purposes, I still would say let's not let that happen. If they're doing it to promote their own classes, we need to have a discussion about that because basically our community, we should take care of who are the teachers and basically who are we endorsing, who are, we should vet them, filter them, make sure that, you know, um, and possibly, anyway, that's just something that should be approached with me. Um, but if somebody wants to do a free class out of the goodness of their heart and they don't want to charge for it and they don't want to try to get students from that, as a promotional tool, then that's fine if our school closes. But in the meantime, while our school is still open, we are going to be basically doing passive promotion, which is basically going to be simply that we do ask people to fill out that feedback form. Once a week, we send that link. We're not going to be reaching out to anybody one on one, but if people happen to fill out this form, then we might get students from that. Also, whenever we announce a new course, we're going to announce it here. Um, and so we'll share the link for them to sign up for the course there as well. So we might get students that way. I'm assuming we're not going to get that many students that way. We're not, generally in the past, I would actually do one-on-one outreach. That works pretty well, but we'll continue to do the passive outreach for the school. So just be aware of that. Um, Again, we don't want people to compete with our school with their own classes unless they want to go through us and we give them permission. Um, the event schedule, I guess Sarah may or may not continue to do that for a while, but we might want to switch to I don't know, like a weekly. This is another thing. Probably what we need to do is just give everybody the ability to share their events here, and that'll be interesting. But you can announce your events right here in the schedule. I mean, the point of the event schedule channel is it's a one-stop place where you can get information about the upcoming events without it being bogged down by other things. I know that Raven just shared her event here, but and that's good. And here we have the Apollo post, which is way back here. Um, but So I guess she's getting some RSVPs from it. That's cool. As long as you reshare the link multiple times, you might get some RSVPs that way. But just being aware that somebody's going to post here because this is a chat channel, so there's going to be people posting here, and this is eventually going to get lost in the flow of information and messages. So that's the whole point of this, is that regular people can't post here. Only for right now, only admins can post. We might change it so that organizers can post here as well. But when they do, we have to figure out a solution for that so that the organizers are not like overriding each other's posts. Like ideally, it's a nice clean schedule, like just the next 3 events in order, not out of order. Um, that may or may not be possible. We might just have to just pare it down to using the announcements channel, and then when you're ready to announce your event, maybe we make a decision that, oh, you should announce your event 3 days before, ideally, or just whenever you decide you're gonna do the event, you can just announce it there. I don't know. We have to figure that part out. Um, but anyway, okay, this video is getting long. Sorry about that. If you listened this far, thanks for listening, but we'll probably go over it again in a meeting. But this is a good overview of what we're trying to do with moving forward. So thanks for watching. Catch you later.